the power and the light this morning.
Oh man, just that intention just must have met me before uh I could come on. I saw the time and then I was like, I had these moments up to 8:17. I was like, huh, let me just enjoy this.
Yes, yes.
So it
And
was
and the journey of the heart. So power in light and journey of the heart.
amazing, amazing, amazing perspective I got today. It was amazing for me. So what had happened was I saw the time and I was ready to come on, but I was still reminiscent in prayer. And I was thinking that I was gonna like talk to you guys about an issue of somewhat related to procrastination on my part. And all of a sudden, I got whisked off spiritually and thought about responsibility of words, the words that are in my heart. And then my mind clicked over. I got a flash of something I watched yesterday, just talking about the evolution and the Fibonacci method and how in everything there is a pattern of being. They call it like the thumbprint of God. And how every bit of us and how every bit of everything, even the air between us, the vibrations between us, and how we all integrate, culminating with this thing, we're all one. So some of those impressions were still with me from yesterday, and they were like just like, like ingredients. They were just like popping into my heart. And then colliding with that is also this pain that has been in my back for like about 3 weeks. And I'm like, ah, man, I really don't have time for this, but we know the body speaks. So I was like, today I'm going to listen to my body and I'm going to do something, allow myself to do something different. So let me try to get to this real revelation here. So all of this is going on, and in the midst of all of these thoughts going on, I was like, as a man thinketh, so is he. So what are my thoughts? What am I actually thinking? What am I actually feeling? And the thoughts that are bringing the feelings and the projection of what this day is going to unfold. So let me see. I did try to take some notes on it. Let's see if it's going to actually come up. Of course, I can't get to it right away. Here we go. Here's some of it. Okay. So here we go. Unedited. Today, I'm choosing to allow myself to be in love with life, the unfolding of the day, the breathing, the birds outside my window tweeting. Today, I choose to be in love with life. Let things flow, not holding on to anything tight or even releasing and letting things go today. I choose to be in love with life. Enjoy the walks that is, because life is a big is. And actually, I want to delete out the word because we don't need any reason. We are life. We are love. It is a it is big every second. Something is birthing, something is being, something is ising, something is evolving and growing, something is dying. These very moments that I speak breath words that once spoken, it becomes the past, and my thoughts are creating. In my thoughts, I am perceiving. I'm birthing new evolutions every second of being. And I'm choosing to be in love with the very essence of life, practicing the being in love with life. It gives full purpose and integration of me existing in this day and understanding as I think that now I pray the true measure of medium, just getting that as I think is as I pray. As I pray, these are the things that this is my worship. My thoughts are my worship. And being aware that of that, I'm responsible for what I think. I'm responsible for what I'm creating. As I think, that is as I am creating. And I'm responsible for that. I'm realizing that in the flow of the love of the way of the day, God made the universe and me in it. I'm creating my thoughts. So I'm in love with life. I'm in love with understanding the vibration that I put out and am allowing to integrate with and how I dance with it. I'm creating what a beautiful level of awareness. I'm at all at awe of this awareness. I'm totally at awe. I'm totally impressed. I'm totally smitten. I'm totally in love with the influence and the power and the joy and the responsibility of how I think I create. And I want to create. I choose to create. I choose to worship. I choose to be responsible for creating smiles and joyful hearts and being a joyful heart, being a creator of being a joyfully responsible creator. Wow, this is a totally different perspective and understanding on the way of being. Life isn't done to us, we are life. As a man thinketh, as a woman thinketh, as the thumbprint of God is in all things, just receiving and integrating the energy to be us, the vibration of the words of the things that I think I create. Wow, that's wisdom beyond wisdom. It's a gift. I did ask for it. Thank you, God. Amen. That's it. That's what I got this morning.
You got no more?
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Is that all? I got a new insight from what you said, though. Is it really the reason we're here is to infuse love into all this dark energy that's on the planet right now?
You know, just
That's
be
about the
love.
simplest way to say it. Just be life, you know.
Yeah.
I felt the sun in your talking, Sindrel.
Mm,
And I came in this morning with the power and light of the sun.
yes. Yes. I just got warmth. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm.
I love dancing and playing with you. Yes. Yes. Mm. I just got how I think I create.
Mm. There's another quote that comes to mind for me, and it's one that my meditation teacher gave. And it's this: we are the essence of beauty.
I appreciate it so much when you go into your magical bag of experiences and history and pull out these trinkets. It's like fairy dust. Can you say it again? Say it again, please.
You are the essence of beauty. The reason why I brought it up was because if we remember that and we create from there,
I'm relating that to the thumbprint of God, and that
mm,
everything that we are in every aspect of what we are is a replication and duplication of that essence.
yeah,
And as we unfold and become aware of that essence, and as we unfold and be aware of our thought patterns, and as we unfold, our focus isn't the stuff we don't want, just be that which we are in essence and let that unfold. What we focus on, what we think, is what we replicate. And we're not in, we have it instinctually, but we know things, so many things get disrupted in our thought pattern and structure through birth and life and trauma. But to be able to come back to be that which we are, beauty, love, the thumbprint, to sit in that and replicate that, focus. You don't even have to focus on it. You just being aware of it.
mm,
And we create in our thoughts. We replicate in our thoughts. And as adults, it's like it makes living so much easier.
it sure does.
And I'm thinking of a relationship that was ensuing, and it just was getting like awkward to my personality. And in my heart, I just let it go. Just let the flower unfold and let the air breathe up, the integration of breath and life and air, and let it go. And as soon as I released it in my heart, I had a whole different aspect of energy. Why was I holding on to a thought or a thinking or an emotion that I don't, that I don't want, that doesn't breed more of what I want?
Mm.
And when I just let it, released it in my heart, I'm like, Sandra, why would you live in constriction? Why would you entertain those things that are constriction? And so I did it for 22 years in a marriage that didn't work for me. And even the years afterwards, trying, allowing myself to disintegrate from that union.
Mm.
And it's come down today to thought
Mm.
and being love, being in love with life.
Mm.
And I not only believe, but now, when you know what you know, what you know, what you know, I don't only believe, But I know, like, even in these moments and throughout this day, I just want to play with being aware of my thoughts and what sticks on me and what I can just pluck off. Ooh, pluck off. Yeah, could put an F on that, but we're gonna be nice. Pluck off and let and don't and not take. You don't have to take on what you don't want to take on in your emotions. And even when we have people or things around us that don't support that, we can still be loved and let
Yeah,
them
we
be
can.
what they are. Yeah, totally.
The other thing that came to mind, Sandra, was a title of a book. I don't know if you know this woman. Craig knows about her, I think, and I think Jesse. I think I told him about her too. So she was an author in the 20s, I think, 20s or 30s. Her name is Frances Scoville Shin, and you
Mm,
can find her stuff online. And her one book is called My Word is My Wand.
mm. Say it again. My word is
Is
my.
my wand. WAND.
Mm,
Yeah, as in magic wand.
mm.
She was amazing.
Oh
Mm.
yeah.
Sounds like I need to read her.
Mm. I
Mm.
found out about her through my husband.
Mm. Tell me more about her
Yeah,
if you
can,
can.
And
can you put in the
Craig,
chat?
you sorry?
Can you please put it in the chat? You said my word is my wand. What was the name?
Yes, yes, and I'll put it in. But I honestly I have forgotten her story. Um, I just know she was what I would call a mystic. Also, even though I don't think she practiced any Eastern philosophical path. Um, Craig, do you remember more about her?
Yeah, she just wrote down the stuff that came to her. And yeah, I know she was like a century before her time, for one thing, but or before the time for what she wrote. But yeah, it's not her story's not unlike many people at Channel today. And that's
Mm,
like you just realize that you're downloading this really profound stuff that isn't really coming through you, but it's I mean it isn't coming from you. It's coming from the other side, and you're just here to channel it, write it down, spread it out.
Yes. So I do see it. It's on Audible.
yeah.
It's also in YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing this to my attention.
You're very welcome. And there's another author, very similar, Catherine Ponder. They both were absolutely amazing, and they were more or less in the same timeline.
Hold on, I'm gonna try to put this one in the chat. Paste. Okay.
Yeah, there's a number of these people, and they wrote in the early 1900s. And 100 years ago, they wrote about the same kind of stuff that's coming to light in this group with all of us. So it's very interesting to explore the parallels there.
I'm trying to get the name of the other person. What was the other?
I put it in the chat for you,
Okay,
Catherine
thank you.
Ponder. You're welcome.
Yeah, it's Ponder, right?
Oh, my spelling is never great, Craig.
Okay.
It's perfect. It got us here.
Yeah,
There
you
we
look
go.
those two up and you'll find a whole lot of other stuff too.
So in that, I was unwrapping the pressure to be right. And triggered from your revelation syndrome. The difference between the pressure to be right and loving life.
Yes. That's a beautifully.
Thinking. Go ahead, Allison.
No, I was just going to say that gives such clarity to the different positions that one can come from. Sorry, Jess.
Thank you. Thinking that one will give us the other.
Ah, there's a trap for you.
And we are applying the pressure so we control the pressure. And so what do? If we don't get it, we'll put more on it.
Yeah.
Being righter, if there's such a word. But oh my God, are we going to dig our hole, they call it, put our foot in the ground and hold our ground? We call that anger.
And fear.
And fear. Which in Sindrel spoke to is contraction, limitation, restriction, a negative charge.
Mm.
It is resisting, preventing, holding back the momentum of life, of nature, of evolution, of change. And yet we think our rightness will control that.
Mm.
Who the fuck do we think we are?
Mm. We can't control the unfolding, but we can participate in what unfolds.
Yes. And we do, whether we are conscious of it or not, and that's the difference.
today I got a bigger opening of being conscious of how I'm participating.
Mm.
Congratulations.
Mm.
Yeah, because we always have the choice of whether we project a high frequency or a lower frequency.
I have an incomplete thought on that, Craig. It charged me. So you know how we always, the contrast is like always there, light, dark, high, low. And yeah, there's a choice. But right now I'm feeling like I've graduated into a level of frequency that I can just be in that frequency and learn from this to grow on more without having to look at the other frequencies that I don't want to participate in because they don't give me the results that that brings up my love, that brings up my gratitude, that brings out my infinity of creation. So while those things, I'm aware that those other frequencies exist, I'm going to stay in graduate frequency instead of going all the way back to kindergarten and focus while I'm in graduate level vibrations. For me, they might be kindergarten for somebody else, but it's my growth. I'm where I am. I'm where I am. I don't have to keep reaching back to kindergarten and preschool stuff. So if I don't want the darkness, if I don't want the vibrations of things that yield stuff that don't regenerate me for my higher good, my greater good, for my acceptance and my responsibility for where I am right now, this is where I want to resonate. Yeah, I know there's other levels, but this is where I want to grow from because this is where I am.
Mm.
Yeah, you choose the where I am. That's where conscious choice comes in.
But I had to get here. I wasn't always here. I had to get here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's those steps of getting there that are really, really tricky when you haven't had the support in the younger years to dance between different emotions and have your body experience always being able to get through an emotion to the other side. And that's the best way that I can describe what we talk about in psychology as emotional regulation. And
Yeah.
if you, for me, if we talk about that in the language that we have here, then for me that is the capacity to open the heart, open another chamber in the heart, even when we are in pain. And I really believe this. We can only get to that when we are mirrored by another. in a supportive and appreciative way.
Such as here.
Yeah, where light gets to shine. I mentioned earlier before we started live streaming, and I was given a bracelet by a friend for Christmas, and the bracelet is beautiful, but the inside is what really, really struck my heart. And the inside says, there's an inscription. It says, "Face the sun, and the shadow will fall behind you."
Mm. Mm. That's a lot of different things right there. So I'm facing the sun and the shadow falls behind. And the sun is so bright, sometimes you're not really sure what you're walking into as you're facing the sun, but you know it's light.
Mm.
But if you turn around and you put your back to the sun and you're facing the shadow,
Mm.
that's already happened. That's the past. And so it's like been there, done that. Face turn around, face the sun,
Mm.
and create beautiful shadows.
What I was also thinking now, Cinderella, as you were talking, and when you said, when you turn around and face the shadow, and what I experienced was the sun on my back. And for me to experience the sun on my back almost feels like the hand of a goddess, and that life support to face the shadow that there is and see it, be able to see it. And then in the seeing it, gather what there is that I need for more fully comprehensive experience of my life. And then make the choice to choose to turn around again and get the full power of the sun.
I can fully appreciate that. Thank you.
What is the other side of having to be right.
Allowing possible possibilities.
I like that.
Yeah, openness.
Mhm. The complete
And al-
opposite of being right. Direct opposite.
being wrong. And then what does that mean?
Right and wrong.
Learning.
Well, to me, being right and being wrong exist in the same side of the charge.
Very good.
So to me, it's I don't know. So
Mm.
yes, that opens the space, the possibilities, all the potential that we think knowing does.
Yes.
That's a limitation of our language, of our understanding, of our meaning.
And our
That was
intention.
taught. That's right, our intentions. That was taught. That was a structure that's taught to us and rewarded.
Mm.
And some people live their life that way and others don't.
Yes.
Some used to and some have changed and yet still pulled back into old patterns, behaviors, thinking. I don't know as a controller. As a Judge Judy. It's
As
much
our
harder.
work.
What's that?
No, go complete, please.
This is much harder. Much harder. Incomplete.
Thank you. So what I'm getting off of, these experiences of growing up and, oh, this is the right answer. Oh, you didn't get that right. So yeah, we were nurtured to either be right or be wrong. But I'm triggered of this thing of I don't know, because somewhere in me not too long ago I accepted that all wisdom is available to me. So I may not be aware of everything yet. So I'm choosing the words that I think in my brain. And for me to say, I don't know, I'm looking to choose something other than those words. Like I'm evolving to learn. And then it's also paralleled with no answer has to be absolute. Knowledge is a journey. So I may not be aware versus I don't know. I may not be aware of all truths yet.
Right? You know, I don't know also is not a final resting place.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
just a next step. My observation is when I claim I don't know, all that I do can drop away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a shortcut for me. It all drops away. And it doesn't mean I stay there, but I stay there as long as I need to. Because the wisdom is then coming. I'm allowing it, I'm creating space for quote the right answer to appear
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in the flow of life, you know. Mhm. And oh boy, because it's been seeing some amazing, again, well, a part of me would say that that wasn't amazing because of the expectation that I have that it should go away, and then the realization of how the creation does go. And working in 2 day chunks, 2 day chunks, 2 day chunks. It's like, oh, 2 days, this is what I need in 2 days. This is what I want. This is my intention in 2 days from now. Create that, hold it, sit in it. That's about as
Mm-hmm.
long as I can hold on to my intention with it, you know? And it's just little steps, 2 days ahead. Where do I want to be 2 days? 2 days, 2 days, 2 days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I've got to fast forward 2 days, meaning like what I thought would happen in 2 days happened in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If I get all wrapped up, I get all pressured, having to know, I can say, I don't know. And it's this, my next step down to the bottom where I can release all of it that's around it. And it's like starting new.
Mm.
It's letting go. And that's what we can't let go of, can't create new from.
Mm.
And that's my lesson today.
Mm.
Thank you for sharing that that space of I don't know and your perspective on it.
Mm.
I'm thinking and feeling instances where I was expected to know or I should have known. And I keep getting this picture of everybody in the classroom raising hand. Who? Wow, 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 wow. And everybody raised their hand. And I very often was the one raised my hand. But the kid who was called on and they didn't have their hand raised and they didn't know the answer. It just felt like cruelty.
Yep.
And it's in that space of not knowing that can just paralyze you.
Yep.
So as adults, when the answers don't come so easy to us, we're like a deer stuck in headlights. So your 2 day takes some of that pressure off. right? So that you can shift around the glaring light of the situation and confront that you don't, I just don't know. And be open to receive the wisdom of knowingness. And as an adult, I've had more times when I couldn't raise my hand with the answer than I did as a child. But because the buck stops here, so to speak, that there's that trauma of not knowingness that can linger and never go addressed.
What I'm thinking about from what you said, Jesse, and what Sandral is saying now, in terms of, knowing something and then not knowing it, is, again, it's that capacity for resilience to dance between knowing, which gives you a foothold, to the next, searching for the next foothold. And you don't know what the next foothold is going to be until your foot finds it. But we, in our life structure, I think, and certainly for me, with the, I want to say, wrong use, and I'm not sure if that's the right term, but for me, that was part of why I had to leave what I experienced as the confines of Christian religion because of the way in which it was taught and the way in which it was implemented in my upbringing, not in my family, thank God, but certainly in my society.
Mhm. And I finally see a meaningful difference between punishment and consequences.
Mm.
Doesn't mean I like it, but it's a space to see it.
Mm.
And as I think back, it's like I think two other people have pointed it out to me with the same word. But not until this morning could I see it. And man, I've been sitting with that one for a couple of weeks. So I just see a new space, a new foothold that takes me one step. It's like, oh, look, punishment is a victim. Consequences is responsibility,
And accountability.
accountability. Much better word. So there's another foothold. So I feel punished as I'm a victim of that. So it's a victim pattern. Interesting. Could it be an accountability side of it? What would that look like? And then that ends up connecting to something else, right? Connecting in. And so it's building on other separate, we could call them separate creations, ideas, ponderings, wonderings, intentions. Because our mind has to separate them. But they're all together.
You know, Jesse, I'm starting to get what you meant about consequences and punishment. Because I was raised that way too, and it's kind of like equating the difficult situations you encounter with some kind of punishment. You know, like I looked at it in the way that, okay, this is happening to me, so this is God punishing me for something. And it was frustrating because I could never figure out what I'd done that deserved this kind of punishment.
Good morning, Pascal. And,
Good morning, guys.
and it's like interesting, right? Like it's God's punishment.
Yeah.
Out of anybody we pick, we can, it's like you pick God as the punisher.
Well, you pick it because you were taught that.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Exactly. Thank you, Allison. It's in my situation. It's like I'm saying someone else is punishing me. A victim, same concept. It's still a victim. Doesn't matter who, it's still the victim of it. That's the important part, I believe. I say it's not what it is, how it is, but it's my experience is punishment. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a child pattern, right? And it's like, okay, to see it was like, oh, I could see like, oh, there's a victim in it, and then there's an accountability. Oh, wait.
Yeah. If God has the right to victimize us, then so does everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'd like to say congratulations, Jesse, like you did to Sandrell this morning. Because sitting on the outside and hearing how you could stand with yourself in that experience of punishment and then realize that you didn't have to stand there and step out of it is huge.
And it's like you said earlier, Allison, that this is a place to expand and contract on this learning, this awareness of self and life. I mean, there's such a feast here for me today. I'm just running up and down the banquet table. Thank you for consequences and punishment. I'm gonna have to. Can I take a doggy bag home? I'm taking a doggy bag on that one.
Yeah.
And it's connected to being right and not knowing.
Yeah, totally. And that for me is the capacity to open the heart. That's what it speaks to. And when you open to the heart of your heart, you're in consciousness. It just floods right in.
It's taking the time to stand in the sun.
Yep.
And turn around and feel it at your back supporting you. And then turn around again and walk into the sun.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting as we think of that, as we see ourselves doing that. One, we will be looking at the light and the shadow will be behind us. The other way, when we turn around, is we'll be facing and looking at the shadow as the light is behind us. We are both.
And maybe and the secret is to know the timing, right? To be able to dance between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Dance. And when you dance with someone, you're spinning around and turning around. And sometimes the sun is at your back and they're looking with the sun at their face and you're dancing. And sometimes you're facing the sun and you've got their back. It's nice to have someone to dance in the sun with.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay if it's you and the sun.
Yeah.
So when I stand with the sun at my back, I'm sitting there, I'm getting the lesson, I'm integrating with the learning. My molecules are allowed to shift and change and to digest and synthesize with the learning and the teaching. Yeah. And it's freedom when you dance in the sun alone. Nobody steps on your toes and you don't step on anybody else's toes and the grass is under your feet. Man, I'm having a good time here today. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've been working on that one for more than 15 years now. That God is not a punisher.
Mm.
And that God is everything.
Exactly. And
Yes.
he's the videos. That means he can be the video store too, Pascal.
Yeah.
That was my daughter at 3. Mummy, if God is everything, is he the video store?
It's priceless.
Here's another thing that she said to me that goes with this. So when she was 3, it was the first time that I left her. And she didn't want me to go. So I asked her to help me to pack my bag. And so she's bringing things to the suitcase. And she says to me, "But Mummy, I've told you, you mustn't go." So I said, "I'm so sorry, Caleb." I know you feel sad that I'm going to go, but you'll be here with Dad and Flo. Flo's going to sleep over. And Flo was my domestic helper, and she looked after Kalis during the day when I was at work. And she said, yes, but you must be here too. So then she said to me, why do you have to go? So I said to her, well, I don't have to go, but I really want to go. Why do you want to go? I said to her, well, it's got to do with what I'm going to do, where I'm going. I'm going to a meditation retreat. She said to me, but we've got the meditation room here. Why can't you just sleep in there for 2 days? So I said to her, well, it's different because then I'm with other people and people that know a lot more about meditation, and they're going to teach me more so that I can become a better person. So she's quiet, and then she says, so you're going because you think that you're going to be closer to God when you go? I said, maybe yes. She said, but I'll remind you, Mummy, you just stay in the meditation room and I'll remind you every day that you've got to be close to God.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And that's the gift of our kids, right?
Yeah, what a blessing that is. Wow.
They've got that capacity in them, and it's just for us to see.
Yeah, they bring back the simplicity of our complex life, that we made it complex.
Yeah. Yeah.
And their ego, my identity, that we work so hard on it. It's like, that can't be that simple. Come on.
Exactly. Exactly, Pastor.
There's no way. When Craig, you were talking like in the beginning, that I catch anyway, that you were getting punished by God. What came to me is like, what changed me anyway? When RJ says like, when you get to the 7th frequency, you realize that there's no other. So when you say like, someone else is punishing you outside of yourself, it just means like, you're spelling yourself. Only you. And then like, what helped me, it's like, it's strange. Like I just see like almost like mirrors everywhere. I see a person and like, I see a mirror. If there's no other, so that person in front of me is just a reflection of me. And if like, I'm judging that person, so where inside I'm judging myself?
Mm.
And if I'm trying to take advantage of someone, why am I doing that? Does it feel good to who? Anyway, just that, like in the 7th frequency, that there's no other, and we're so clueless here that we don't see that. just that statement alone, it was like, whoa, okay. That definitely shifts something inside of me.
Yeah, for me too. And a realization that judgment or punishment are just made up things by dark energy in the earth realm. And they may not even exist anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about judgment, like, it kind of drives me nuts that, like, you know, it's acceptable at the Halloween when we doing costume and we're putting like different type of hair or different color or anything like that. But then like in the day to day, we judge people if they're dressed like that. But at a Halloween, it's fine. Oh, look at the hair, like green. Who cares? It's a suit. No, I'm saying that because I was the judger before. I did recognize that myself, and now I'm just like, who cares? If they want to tattoo their whole face or like tattoo their whole body, who cares? Not for me, but who cares? They're just showing one expression of God. And it expands so much more because you see beyond like this person. We grew up with like, oh, people that has tattooed are bad and stuff like that. And I have like one of my best friends. And then like when I met him, I was like, holy shit, like this is crazy. And then like when you start knowing the person, you're like, holy shit, like this is the he's amazing. He's amazing, so gentle, like, how's that possible, right? And then you go to bar with him and like he's getting looked at and even the bouncer are just like, my God, like we gotta be careful, we got a serial killer in our bar or something, but he wouldn't touch like a fly. So it just expand your consciousness when you're like, you're not looking at people like by their appearance alone. You're curious of more. Pancho, he was a good dog. He just want to talk.
Well, all, thank you for a wonderful morning.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
And have a wonderful day.
Yes,
Yeah, you
thank
as
you.
well.
Have a
Thanks.
blessed day,
Thank
all of you.
you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cinderella.
Let's find the
Bye.
others.
Yeah. Hey, go find them.
Yeah, me too. I'm in on that one. Love and hugs, everybody.
Bye.
Love and hugs.